Jake Carter never believed in ghosts. He was 23, practical, and the kind of person who laughed whenever someone talked about haunted houses. Growing up in a small town in the state of Maine, he had heard every ghost story imaginable. According to the locals, there was always an abandoned hospital, an old cemetery, or a cursed road where strange things happened. Jake never believed any of it. That was why he accepted the challenge. It all started on a cold October evening. Jake and his three friends Ryan, Emily, and Tyler were sitting inside Miller's diner. Rain tapped against the windows while the smell of coffee filled the air. Ryan leaned forward. "Have you guys ever heard of Blackthorn House?" Emily immediately rolled her eyes. "Not this again." "What?" Ryan said. "Every year someone tells that story?" Tyler laughed. "The haunted mansion on the hill." "Right." Ryan nodded. Double quotes exactly. Jake smirked. "The place where people hear whispers and see ghosts." Ryan pointed at him. "Yeah, that place." Jake took a sip of coffee. "And you believe that nonsense?" Ryan shrugged. "I don't know what I believe. But 3 people disappeared there." The table became quiet. Emily crossed her arms. "Disappeared? Or moved away?" Ryan pulled out his phone. "No, actually disappeared." Jake chuckled. "Sure." Ryan looked serious. "The police investigated. They never found them." Jake wasn't impressed. People loved turning ordinary events into supernatural legends. Still, Ryan continued. "The house was built in 1887. Okay. The owner was a wealthy man named Arthur Blackthorn." Jake nodded. "And?" Ryan lowered his voice. "They say he murdered his entire family." Emily sighed. "Here we go." Ryan ignored her. "His wife, his daughter, his son." Tyler raised an eyebrow. "What happened to him?" "No one knows." Jake laughed. "Convenient." Ryan looked out the window. One night the family vanished. The rain outside seemed heavier. The house stayed empty for decades. Jake shrugged. "So?" Ryan stared directly at him. "So people still hear them." Jake smirked. "Hear who?" "The family." Tyler laughed. "Now that's a good story." Ryan wasn't smiling. "Visitors claim they hear children crying." Emily shook her head. "Enough." But Ryan continued. "They hear footsteps in empty rooms." Jake rolled his eyes. "Old wood creaks." "They see lights where there is no electricity." "Reflection." "They hear voices calling their names." "Prank." Ryan slammed his hand lightly on the table, then explained the disappearances. Jake shrugged. "People run away." Ryan smiled. "Then spend one night there." The table went silent. Jake looked at him. "What?" Ryan leaned forward. "Spend one night in Blackthorn House." Emily immediately said no. Tyler grinned. "Actually, that sounds fun." Jake laughed. "You think I'm scared?" "No." Ryan smiled. "Then prove it." Jake looked around the table. The challenge was ridiculous. But his pride wouldn't let him refuse. "Fine." Emily stared at him. "You're serious?" Jake nodded. "One night." Ryan grinned. "Tomorrow." Tyler raised his coffee mug. "Two bad decisions." Everyone laughed. Everyone except Emily. She looked nervous. Very nervous. The next evening, they drove toward Blackthorn Hill. Dark clouds covered the sky. The road twisted through dense forest. Tall trees surrounded them like silent guards. The further they drove, the fewer houses they saw. Soon there was nothing except woods. Then Jake saw it. Blackthorn House. Even from a distance it looked wrong. The mansion stood alone on top of a hill. Its windows were dark. Its paint had long since peeled away. The roof sagged. Dead vines covered the walls. Lightning flashed. For a brief second, the house appeared almost alive. Emily swallowed. "I don't like this." Tyler parked the truck. Too late now. They stepped outside. The wind felt unusually cold. Jake grabbed his flashlight. "Let's go." The front gate squealed as they pushed it open. The sound echoed through the darkness. Nobody spoke. Even Jake felt uneasy. Not scared. Just uncomfortable. They walked toward the front door. Each step seemed louder than it should have been. The house towered above them. Closer now. Bigger. Darker. Waiting. Ryan pushed the front door. It slowly creaked open. A foul smell drifted out. Dust. Mold. Rot. Tyler covered his nose. That's disgusting. Jake stepped inside first. The floor groaned beneath him. Their flashlights illuminated a grand entrance hall. Broken furniture lay scattered everywhere. Spider webs hung from the ceiling. Portraits covered the walls. Most were damaged, but one remained intact. A family portrait. A man, a woman, a young boy, a little girl, all staring directly forward. Emily pointed. That's them. Ryan nodded. The Blackthorn family. Jake moved closer. Something about the painting felt unsettling. The eyes seemed strangely realistic. Almost alive. Then lightning flashed outside. For a split second Jake thought the little girl's smile changed. He immediately looked again. Normal. Thus his imagination. See, he said. Nothing here. Suddenly thump. Everyone froze. A loud noise came from upstairs. Tyler laughed nervously. Probably a raccoon. Nobody answered. Then came another sound. Thump. Thump. Slow footsteps. Directly above them. Emily grabbed Ryan's arm. Tell me that's a raccoon. Ryan didn't respond. Jake shined his flashlight toward the staircase. Silence. The footsteps stopped. Everything became quiet. To quiet. Then a little girl's voice echoed somewhere in the darkness. Soft. Almost whispering. Hello. Emily screamed. And every flashlight in the house suddenly went out. Darkness swallowed the room. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Emily's scream echoed through the mansion before fading into silence. Jake pressed the button on his flashlight again. Nothing. Ryan tried his. Nothing. Tyler hit the side of his flashlight. Still nothing. Are you kidding me? Tyler muttered. The timing was impossible. All four flashlights had died at the exact same moment. A cold breeze drifted through the hallway. Jake felt the hairs rise on the back of his neck. Then came the voice again. A little girl, very close this time. Can you hear me? Emily grabbed Jake's arm. Oh God. Jake forced himself to stay calm. It's someone messing with us. Even as he said it, he didn't believe it. The voice sounded wrong. Not distant. Not normal. It felt as if the whisper had come from right beside his ear. Lightning flashed through a broken window. For a split second the hallway lit up. And Jake saw something standing near the staircase. A small figure. A little girl. White dress. Long dark hair. Bare feet. Then darkness returned. The figure vanished. Emily began crying. You saw that too, right? Nobody answered immediately, because they all had. Tyler swallowed hard. Yeah, a loud creak came from upstairs. Then another. Then another. Something was walking above them. Slowly. Back and forth. Jake clenched his jaw. We need light. Ryan pulled out his phone. The screen lit up. A small amount of light filled the room. The others did the same. The fear eased slightly. At least now they could see. Let's leave, Emily said immediately. Jake nodded. For the first time all night, leaving sounded like a good idea. They turned toward the front door. Then froze. The door was gone. Not physically gone, but somehow it wasn't where it had been. The entrance hall looked different. The wall had changed. The doorway had disappeared into darkness. Tyler stared. What the hell? Ryan moved forward. No way. He shined his phone light around. The front entrance should have been 10 feet away. Instead there was only wall. Old wooden wall, covered in dust. Emily started panicking. Double quotes. No. Jake walked toward it. His heart pounded. He touched the wood. Solid. Real. The door was gone. That's impossible. Then a laugh echoed somewhere upstairs. A child's laugh. Soft. Playful. But deeply unsettling. Everyone heard it. The sound drifted through the mansion like a ghost moving through the walls. Emily covered her ears. Stop it. The laughter stopped instantly. The silence that followed felt even worse. Then they heard a distant knock. 3 knocks. Knock. Coming from upstairs. Almost like someone wanted them to follow. Tyler shook his head. Nope. Another 3 knocks. Knock. Jake looked toward the staircase. The logical part of his brain was breaking apart. Nothing made sense anymore. But if the front door had somehow vanished, They needed answers. And the sounds were coming from upstairs. Double quotes, we check it out. Emily looked horrified. Are you insane? We can't find the exit. Ryan nodded reluctantly. He's right. The group slowly climbed the staircase. Each step groaned beneath their weight. The air felt colder upstairs. Much colder. Their breath became visible. A narrow hallway stretched before them. Several doors lined each side. Most stood partially open. Darkness filled every room. The old mansion seemed endless. Then Jake noticed something. A small muddy footprint. On the wooden floor. Tiny like a child's. Fresh. Not decades old. Fresh. Tyler saw it too. Please tell me one of you did that. Nobody answered. The footprint continued down the hallway. One after another. Leading toward the last room. At the very end. The door stood slightly open. The knocking came again. From inside. Knock. Knock. Emily whispered. We shouldn't go in there. Nobody disagreed. Yet somehow they continued walking. The footprints ended at the doorway. Jake pushed the door open. The hinges screamed. Inside was a child's bedroom, covered in dust. Old toys lay scattered across the floor. A rocking horse stood in the corner. Broken dolls rested on shelves. The room looked untouched for over a century. Then something moved. The rocking horse. Slowly. Back and forth. Back and forth. Nobody was touching it. Tyler stepped backward. Nope. The horse continued rocking. Creak. Creak. Then suddenly stopped. A photograph lay on the floor beneath it. Jake picked it up. The picture showed a young girl, about 8 years old, standing in front of the mansion. The same girl from the portrait downstairs. The same girl they had seen near the staircase. On the back was a message, written in faded ink. Help me. Emily stared at it. What does that mean? Before anyone could answer, slam. The bedroom door shut. Hard. The entire room shook. Emily screamed again. Ryan rushed to the door. Lock. It wouldn't move. He pulled harder. Nothing. Tyler joined him. Still nothing. The door refused to open. Then came a scratching sound, very faint, from inside the walls. Scratch. 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 Jake turned slowly. The sound moved around the room, like something crawling behind the walls. The scratching became louder. Closer. Then stopped directly behind the wallpaper. The old wallpaper bulged outward. Something underneath was pushing against it. Emily cried out. The wallpaper stretched. A shape formed beneath it. Human shape. As though someone was trapped inside the wall, trying to get out. A pale hand suddenly pressed through the wallpaper. Everyone screamed. The hand vanished. The wall became still. Silence. Then the bedroom door slowly creaked open by itself. Nobody waited. They ran. Down the hallway. Down the staircase. Back toward the entrance hall. Their footsteps echoed through the mansion. Jake's heart hammered inside his chest. They reached the first floor. Then stopped. The entrance hall had changed again. The family portrait was gone. Every piece of furniture was gone. The room looked completely different. As if the house itself were rearranging. Tyler whispered, "This place isn't normal." Then they heard a new sound. A voice. Not a child this time. A man. Deep. Angry. Coming from somewhere below them. Beneath the house. The voice echoed. Beneath the house. Ryan looked around. Did you hear that? Again the voice spoke. Beneath the house. Jake looked toward the floor. There. Near the fireplace. A section of wooden flooring had shifted. A narrow opening was visible, hidden beneath a dusty rug. A trap door. Emily shook her head immediately. No. The voice came one final time. Beneath the house. Then silence. Nobody spoke. They all stared at the trap door. A secret passage, hidden under Blackthorn House. And somehow every instinct told Jake the truth was down there. Unfortunately. So was whatever else lived inside the mansion. The house at Blackthorn Hill. Part 3. The trap door sat in the center of the room. Silent. Waiting. Nobody wanted to open it. Yet none of them could stop staring at it. The old wood looked ancient. Rusted iron hinges were barely holding it together. Jake felt a knot forming in his stomach. Everything inside him screamed to leave, but the house wouldn't let them. The front door had vanished. The rooms kept changing. The voices knew they were here, and somewhere in the darkness, a little girl was watching. Tyler stepped back. I'm telling you right now, whatever is under there isn't good. Emily nodded immediately. Then don't open it. Ryan looked at Jake. What do we do? Jake didn't answer. He slowly knelt beside the trapdoor. The wood felt freezing cold, colder than ice. He wrapped his fingers around the iron ring. For a second nothing happened. Then a distant whisper drifted through the house. Help me. The same little girl's voice. Jake took a deep breath and pulled. The trapdoor opened with a loud groan. A wave of cold air rushed upward. It smelled horrible. Rotting wood, damp earth. And something else. Something older. Something dead. Emily covered her nose. Oh my God. Below them was a narrow staircase, descending into darkness. Stone walls disappeared into the black. No light. No sound. Nothing. Ryan turned on his phone flashlight. The beam barely reached the bottom. Jake swallowed. Stay together. Nobody liked that plan, but they followed him anyway. One by one they descended. The staircase seemed endless. Every step echoed. The air grew colder. Heavier. As though the basement itself was alive. Finally, they reached the bottom. The room beneath Blackthorn House was enormous. Much larger than it should have been. Stone walls surrounded them. Old shelves lined the room. Dust covered everything. In one corner stood several wooden crates. In another sat rusted tools. And directly ahead was a large wooden desk. Jake slowly approached. Something rested on top. A book. Thick. Black. Covered in dust. Ryan shined his light on it. What's that? Jake picked it up carefully. The cover cracked as he opened it. Inside were handwritten pages. Hundreds of them. The name on the first page made everyone's stomach drop. Arthur Blackthorn. Emily whispered. The owner. Jake turned another page. The writing was old but readable. The first entries seemed normal. Arthur wrote about his family, his wife Eleanor, his son William, his daughter Sarah. He described them as his world, his reason for living. But as the pages continued, the handwriting changed. It became shakier, more desperate, more disturbed. Jake read aloud. The voices have returned. The group exchanged nervous looks. He continued. They speak from beneath the hill. Another page. Sarah hears them at night. Another page. William says someone watches him from the woods. Another. The thing beneath the house is waking. Tyler looked uncomfortable. This guy was insane. Jake kept reading. The entries became darker. Arthur described hearing whispers inside the walls, seeing shadows move through rooms. Finding strange symbols scratched into doors. Then came an entry dated October 31st, 1889. Jake's voice trembled as he read. The voices demanded a sacrifice. Nobody spoke. The basement felt colder. Much colder. He turned the page. I refused. Next page. Sarah vanished. Emily's eyes widened. The little girl. The ghost. Sarah. Jake continued. We searched for 3 days. Then we heard her crying inside the walls. Nobody breathed. God forgive me. We broke the walls open. Jake stopped reading. His hand shook. Ryan stared. What did they find? Jake slowly looked down. The next sentence was written in larger letters, almost carved into the paper. She was inside. Silence. Absolute silence. Emily backed away. No. Jake continued reading. She was dead, but the crying continued. A loud thump echoed somewhere in the darkness behind them. Everyone spun around. Nothing. Only shadows. Jake quickly returned to the diary. The final pages were almost unreadable. The handwriting looked frantic. As if Arthur had written them while terrified. The thing beneath the hill wants my family. It wears faces. It mimics voices. It cannot leave the house. Then came the final entry. Only 3 words. IT found US. The rest of the pages were blank. Tyler swallowed hard. I don't like this. Nobody did. Then something happened. A soft crying sound echoed through the basement. A child crying. Very close. Emily froze. Do you hear that? The crying continued. Coming from deeper inside the basement. Beyond a stone doorway. Jake shined his light toward it. A narrow tunnel stretched into darkness. The crying came from within. Ryan whispered, "That's Sarah." Tyler shook his head. "No, it's pretending." The diary had warned them. It wears faces. It mimics voices. The crying suddenly changed. Now it sounded like a woman. Then a man. Then a child again. The sound twisted unnaturally, like several voices speaking at once. Emily stepped backward. "We need to go." Everyone agreed. They turned toward the staircase. Then Jake's heart nearly stopped. Tyler was gone. The group froze. Ryan looked around. "What?" Emily's face turned pale. Tyler had been standing beside them seconds ago. Now he had vanished. No footsteps. No scream. Nothing. Just gone. The basement suddenly felt much larger. Much darker. "Tyler." Jake shouted. No answer. "Tyler." Only silence. Then a voice echoed from the tunnel. "Guys." It was Tyler. Ryan looked relieved. "He's over there." The voice came again. Weak. Terrified. Double quotes. "Help me." Emily started moving toward the tunnel. Jake grabbed her arm. "Wait." She looked confused. "What?" Jake stared into the darkness. The voice sounded like Tyler. Exactly like Tyler. But the diary's warning echoed in his mind. It mimics voices. The tunnel remained dark. Completely dark. Then Tyler's voice came again. "Closer now. Please help me." A second later the same voice came from behind them. "Don't go in there." Everyone spun around. Standing near the staircase. Was Tyler. Covered in dust. Terrified. Alive. Emily screamed. Ryan's face went white, because Tyler was standing behind them. But Tyler's voice was still coming from inside the tunnel. Both voices spoke at the same time. One behind them. One inside the darkness. "Help me." The tunnel voice suddenly began laughing. A horrible distorted laugh. Not human. Not even close. Then dozens of voices joined it. Children. Women. Men. All laughing together. And something huge began moving in the darkness beyond the tunnel. The laughter echoed through the tunnel. Dozens of voices. Men. Women. Children. All laughing together. The sound bounced off the stone walls and filled every corner of the basement. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Jake felt frozen in place. His heart pounded so hard he could hear it. The darkness inside the tunnel shifted. Something was moving. Something very large. Tyler stood beside the staircase, breathing heavily. His face was pale. His clothes were covered in dust. Ryan grabbed his shoulders. "Where were you?" Tyler looked terrified. "I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know?" Tyler swallowed. "I heard my mom's voice." The group exchanged nervous looks. "My mom was calling for me." His voice shook. "I followed it." Jake immediately remembered the diary. It mimics voices. Tyler continued. "I thought she was trapped." "What happened then?" Tyler looked toward the tunnel. His eyes widened. "I saw something. Nobody liked the sound of that." "What?" Tyler's lips trembled. It wasn't human. Silence. Then another sound came from the darkness. A scraping noise. Heavy. Slow. Like giant claws dragging across stone. Scraa. 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 Emily backed away. "Oh God." The sound grew closer. Ryan aimed his phone light toward the tunnel. The beam disappeared into darkness. Then something stepped forward. Everyone froze. At first Jake thought it was a person. Then he realized it wasn't. The thing was too tall. Far too tall. Its head nearly touched the ceiling. Its arms were unnaturally long. Its skin looked gray and stretched tightly across its body. But the worst part was its face. Or faces, because the creature's face kept changing. One second it looked like an old woman. The next second it became a child. Then a man. Then another child. Faces appeared and disappeared beneath the skin, like trapped souls trying to escape. Emily screamed. Ryan stumbled backward. Tyler nearly fell. The creature smiled. 100 different smiles appeared across its face at once. Then it spoke. Not in one voice. In many. "Welcome home." The words echoed unnaturally. The creature took another step forward. "Scraape. Scraape." Jake's survival instincts finally kicked in. Run. Nobody argued. They sprinted toward the staircase. The creature let out a horrible shriek. The sound rattled the entire basement. Dust fell from the ceiling. The monster lunged forward. Its long fingers slammed into the stone floor. Cracks spread everywhere. Jake raced up the stairs, 2 steps at a time. Behind him he heard Emily crying, Ryan shouting, the creature screaming. The entire house seemed to shake. They burst through the trapdoor and slammed it shut. For several seconds nobody moved. Silence. Then dash boom. Something hit the underside of the trapdoor. Emily screamed again. Boom. Another impact. The wood shook violently. Boom. 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 The monster was trying to break through. Ryan dragged a heavy cabinet across the trapdoor. Jake helped him. Tyler joined them. Finally, the impact stopped. Silence returned. Nobody trusted it. Everyone stood there breathing heavily. Then they heard a new sound. A little girl humming. Very close. The group slowly turned. Standing at the end of the hallway was the ghost girl, Sarah Blackthorne. For the first time, they could see her clearly. She looked about 8 years old. Her white dress was torn. Her dark hair hung over her shoulders. But unlike the creature below, she didn't look evil. She looked sad. Very sad. Sarah stared at them, then pointed toward the second floor. Jake frowned. What? The girl pointed again, then slowly turned. And began walking upstairs. Emily whispered, she's trying to show us something. Ryan wasn't convinced. Or she's leading us into a trap. Sarah stopped halfway up the staircase, then looked back. Waiting. Jake made a decision. We follow her. Nobody liked it, but nobody had a better idea. They climbed the stairs. Sarah continued upward. The second floor hallway looked different again. The house had changed. Once more, doors appeared where there had been none before. Windows vanished. The mansion seemed alive. Sarah stopped outside a room at the end of the corridor. A room they hadn't seen earlier. The door slowly creaked open. Inside was a study. An old desk sat near the window. Bookshelves covered the walls. Everything was coated in dust. Sarah pointed toward the desk. Then disappeared. Just vanished. The room became silent. Jake approached the desk. Inside one drawer, he found several old letters. Hundreds of letters. Most were written by Eleanor Blackthorne, Arthur's wife. Jake opened one. The letter revealed something shocking. Arthur had never murdered his family. The town had been wrong all along. According to Eleanor's writings, strange events began shortly after they moved into the mansion. Voices, shadows, disappearances. Sarah had been the first victim. The family heard her crying from inside the walls, but when they found her body, she had already been dead for days. Something had been pretending to be her, something living beneath the hill. Jake opened another letter, then another. Each one described the same thing. A creature older than the house itself, older than the town, something trapped underground. Something feeding on fear, something capable of stealing voices, stealing appearances, stealing identities. Tyler suddenly froze. His face went pale. Ryan noticed immediately. What's wrong? Tyler didn't answer. Jake looked up. Tyler was staring at a mirror hanging on the wall, a very old mirror, covered in cracks. Jake followed his gaze, and his blood turned cold. Tyler's reflection was different. Everyone else's reflection matched perfectly, but Tyler's reflection was smiling. Tyler wasn't. The reflection slowly raised its hand. Tyler hadn't moved. Emily gasped. The reflection smiled wider, much wider. To wide. Then it whispered from inside the mirror, "You should have left." The glass exploded. Shatter. Everyone jumped backward. Pieces scattered across the room, and suddenly every door in the mansion slammed shut at once. Bang. 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 The entire house trembled. The temperature dropped instantly. Their breath became visible again. Then the voice came. Not from the basement. Not from the walls. Everywhere. The creature had entered the house, and now it knew exactly where they were. A deep growling voice echoed through every corridor, every room. Every shadow. You cannot leave. The lights from their phones flickered. Once. Twice. Then something began climbing the staircase outside. Slow. Heavy. Deliberate. Scraa ape. Scraa ape. Scraa ape. The monster was coming. And this time, there was nowhere left to run. The scraping sound grew louder. Scraa. Every step echoed through the mansion. The creature was climbing the stairs. Coming for them. Jake stood frozen beside the shattered mirror. Emily was crying. Ryan gripped a broken chair leg like it could somehow protect them. Tyler stared at the doorway. Nobody spoke. Nobody knew what to do. The growling voice echoed through the house again. You cannot leave. The walls trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. Then the study door slowly began to open. Creak. An icy wind swept into the room. The hallway beyond was dark, completely dark, but something was standing there. Watching. Waiting. The creature stepped forward. Its body twisted unnaturally. Faces moved beneath its skin. Dozens of them. Hundreds. Every victim it had ever taken. Children. Adults. Strangers. All trapped inside. The monster smiled. 100 mouths smiled with it. Emily backed into the corner. Jake knew they couldn't outrun it. Not anymore. Then a soft glow appeared behind them. Everyone turned. Sarah Blackthorne stood near the window. The ghost girl. For the first time, she wasn't sad. She looked determined. She pointed toward one of the letters scattered across the desk. Jake quickly grabbed it. The paper looked older than the others. Different. At the bottom was Arthur Blackthorne's signature. Jake read as fast as he could. His eyes widened. This is it. Ryan looked confused. What? Jake held up the letter. Arthur discovered how to stop it. The creature hissed. Its smile disappeared. For the first time, it looked nervous. Jake continued reading. More ancient symbols covered the page. According to Arthur, the creature wasn't a ghost. It wasn't a demon. It was something much older. A parasite. A thing that fed on fear and suffering. Centuries ago, people trapped it beneath the hill using a ritual seal. But when Blackthorne House was built, the seal was accidentally broken. The creature escaped and slowly began consuming the family. Arthur had spent years searching for a way to imprison it again. Finally, he found one. The original seal still existed, hidden beneath the mansion. Deep below the basement. Inside a forgotten chamber. The creature roared. The windows shattered. Glass exploded everywhere. Sarah pointed urgently toward the hallway. Jake understood immediately. We need to get back underground. Ryan stared at him. Are you serious? What choice do we have? The monster took another step forward. The room shook. Nobody argued. They ran. The creature screamed behind them. The chase began. Through hallways. Down staircases. Past rooms that seemed to move and change around them. The mansion itself felt alive, trying to help the creature, trying to trap them. Doors slammed shut. Walls shifted. Floors groaned. But Sarah kept appearing ahead of them, guiding them, showing them the way. Every time they thought they were lost, she appeared again, leading them deeper. Eventually, they reached the basement. The trapdoor had been destroyed. Huge claw marks covered the floor. The creature followed close behind. Its screams echoed everywhere. Jake led the group through the tunnel. The same tunnel where they had first heard the voices. The same tunnel where Tyler disappeared. Only now they kept going. Farther. Deeper. The air became colder. The stone walls became older. Ancient symbols appeared everywhere. Then they found it, a massive underground chamber, hidden beneath Blackthorne Hill. The room was circular. Strange markings covered the floor. In the center stood a large stone seal. Cracked. Broken. Exactly as Arthur described. Ryan stared. This place is older than the house. Jake nodded. Much older. The creature suddenly entered the chamber. Its roar shook the ground. Faces twisted beneath its skin. Hundreds of trapped souls screamed together. The monster knew what they planned, and it was terrified. Sarah walked into the center of the seal. Her ghostly form glowed brighter than ever. Then she smiled, a real smile, the first one since they arrived. Jake understood. The seal required a sacrifice. Someone had to remain behind. Someone had to become part of the prison. Sarah had been waiting all these years. Waiting for a chance to finish what Arthur couldn't. Emily shook her head. No. Sarah looked at her kindly, then turned toward the creature. The monster screamed. The chamber began shaking violently. Ancient symbols lit up across the floor. Blue light spread through every crack. The creature lunged. Too late. Sarah raised her hand. The seal activated. A blinding light erupted from the ground. The creature shrieked in agony. Faces began tearing away from its body. Hundreds of trapped souls emerged. Men, women, children, all finally free. The monster fought desperately, but the seal pulled it downward, back into the darkness beneath the hill, back into its prison. The chamber shook harder. Stone cracked. The ceiling started collapsing. Jake shouted, "Run." The group sprinted toward the tunnel. Behind them, the creature screamed one final time. A sound so horrible none of them would ever forget it. Then silence. Absolute silence. The tunnel collapsed. The ground shook. The entire mansion trembled above them. They barely escaped the basement before the house began falling apart. Walls cracked. Windows shattered. The roof collapsed inward. Blackthorn House was dying. At the front entrance, they finally saw something impossible. The front door. Back where it belonged. Jake kicked it open. The group stumbled outside. Seconds later, the mansion collapsed. With a deafening roar, Blackthorn House disappeared into itself. Dust filled the night sky. Then everything became still. For the first time since arriving, the hill felt peaceful. No whispers. No screams. No voices. Only silence. The nightmare was over. Or so they thought. 1 year later, Jake never returned to Blackthorn Hill. None of them did. Life slowly returned to normal. The story became something they rarely discussed. People wouldn't have believed them. Anyway, the ruins of the mansion remained abandoned. Nobody went near them. One cold October night, exactly 1 year later, Jake sat alone in his apartment. Rain tapped against the windows. Just like the night it all began. He opened an old storage box. Inside were photographs from that terrible night. He stared at them quietly. Then he noticed something. A picture he had never seen before. His blood turned cold. The photo showed the 4 friends standing outside Blackthorn House. Jake, Ryan, Emily, Tyler. But there was someone else standing among them. A 5th figure. Tall, thin, smiling, watching the camera. Jake's hands began shaking. He turned the photograph over. Written on the back were 4 words: "I am still here." Then the lights in his apartment went out, and from somewhere behind him, a familiar voice whispered, "Hello, Jake.